cylinders are mounted as far back as possible. They're actually over the forward wheels. This allows for better weight distribution as the operation of the bucket continues. More power because we have more angle to work with versus a cylinder that went the other way. Better weight distribution because the weight is always kept as close as possible to the forward wheels. This is what we call the flap. The flap of the split bucket. This is what we call the dozer blade. So if I'm talking about the dozer blade, that would be this part. If I'm talking about the flap, that would be this part. We've got the turtle teeth, obviously. Now, because the turtle teeth are pointed in the front, it makes it an ideal bucket to be able to scrape backwards and use it like a spreader. The regular bucket would have something like this that would go on, and it keeps the bottom of the bucket above the ground. So if you're on cement or you wanted to clean the cement or any flat area and you were going along, you would leave dirt underneath, under the space. Well, the turtle teeth, they are mounted flush. They're actually cut right into the bucket, and they're flush for that reason. Because the turtle teeth are mounted flush to the bottom and they're integrated into the bucket, they don't take up any space and they cut into the dirt like a knife. Also, this curvature is very important because it allows less resistance as you're going into the hill. If you look at a standard bucket, they always have this front that I don't like because that has to be pushed into the hill also before they put their angle on. So this gives it a lot more resistance when you're trying to dig. This is one of the reasons why the skid steer, the super skid steer bucket with the turtle teeth can dig so much easier and better and faster. We have another protrusion down here that goes down 2 inches. Now if you take a look at this curvature happens to be 1 inch. When it's completely open, it's 1 inch above the ground. Well, what does that do? We got a 2-inch blade, we got a 1-inch curvature that's close to the ground. This allows the operator to back drag with the flap open and only take 1 inch at a time. Once this sinks into the ground, it holds the knife edge, which is, like I said, a couple of inches. It holds it off the ground so that you can take 1 inch at a time. Even a novice operator can take 1 inch at a time off as he's pulling backwards.
With Pannys Super Skid Steer, notice how the operator is capable of transferring all of the weight of the machine to the bucket. Then he releases it and away he goes.
As if you were to draw a straight line down from the turtle teeth to this knife edge at the back, you'll find that it's 8 inches. Well, that allows you to push an 8-inch pile of dirt up against the wall, and the operator can easily see the turtle teeth, how close he is to the wall, so he doesn't hurt the wall. So that means if he were back dragging away from the wall, he could go right up to the wall with his turtle teeth. He would be within 8 inches. He can put it down and pull it away. If he's backfilling against the wall around the basement or whatever, and he's pushing, you don't have to worry about pushing into the wall because he can easily see exactly where his bucket is, and the knife edge would always stay away from the wall. Now, as we raise the bucket, and I'll do that in a second, as we raise the bucket, what you're going to notice is we're going to change this angle from here to here. This angle will raise up, allowing the bucket to dig in reverse.
Not only will this bucket dig forward, but it'll also dig backwards, as you can see. When the bucket closes, it picks up all the dirt, so there's no handwork left when you're done. This is ideal for situations where you want to pull dirt away from the wall or keep it off the grass, anything similar to that. Not only can you dump forwards, but you can also dump by splitting the bucket open. My personal preference is to dump by splitting the bucket. That way I don't have to carry it near as high when I'm traveling or when I'm dumping. Don't you just love the way this thing turns? It's fantastic.
Simply by rotating the bucket, you can change the angle that the scarifier teeth dig and the amount that they dig.
What you're noticing is the operator is rotating the bucket forward and backwards, and this allows the 6 scarifier teeth to dig, and whatever depth that they want to dig to is controlled by the rotating the bucket. If the operator rotates the bucket far enough, you can see they completely come off the ground and they're no longer in service. Now the front end is down, and you can see the dozer blade acts as its guide. Then he rotates it back. Now the scarifiers are in play. So it's simply a matter of rotating the bucket. To choose whether you want to use the backdrop blade, the push drop blade, the dozer blade, scarifier teeth, all controlled by the rotating of the bucket.
And the really nice thing about this is that the operator has full control and full visibility to the scarifier teeth and the knife up front.
The center of rotation on a regular bucket always lifts the teeth right off the ground, but Pannys Super Skid Steer actually makes the teeth go down as it goes along the ground. So it's the point of rotation is actually in front of the teeth, and makes a huge difference if you want to do a little digging. The regular Bobcat could try this all day long and it would never dig. This ground is hard like concrete, by the way. The entire weight of the skid steer is placed on the scarifier teeth, then the operator lowers the skid steer and away it goes to get maximum performance. You'll notice in this frame, the operator is choosing to use the scarifiers. He puts it down and away it goes. He can adjust the amount of down pressure, or he can just use the float. It's his option. In this frame, the operator is lifting the flap, and he is choosing to use the flap, the smooth portion of the flap, to pull the stone backwards. In this frame, the operator choosing to use both blades to level as he backs up. Notice also that the flap is actually capturing some of the stone. So he's going to scoop it up, bring it back, and respread it. Using turtle teeth just smoothens out the little bumps. In this frame, the operator is going to tilt the bucket back just slightly and skid on the back portion of the blade. Now he's going to turn around and he's going to dig with the back portion of the blade. Notice how the operator rotates on the flat portion of the blade and then just tips it a little bit forward if he chooses to dig. That's a nice, easy way to do it. Get backwards, or you can run 100% level. Very easy to do. In this next clip, what we're looking for is the dozer blade. Notice it starts from here and it goes all the way to here. Well, let's take a look at it. This extension of the dozer blade moving forwards or backwards makes a huge difference when you're dumping into a dump trailer. Instead of dumping right up against the edge, it helps you get out a little further as you're dumping. On this job, we were just pulling 4x4s out of concrete. And they came out pretty good. You just have to wiggle them a little bit and get a little up pressure, but you can see how this skid steer hangs right onto it. We were pulling these out of the concrete base, but sometimes the concrete base, as you can see here, came with it. This is an optional leveling screen that we use for sod layers. It's really nice, and two little clips hook onto the front of the super skid steer split bucket, and it can be maneuvered around in tight places, but it's ideal for sod layers, anybody that wants to put down sod if you don't want to rake the whole yard. And as it goes back this time, you're going to notice he's going to swing it side to side. Notice how the bucket just stays off the ground and it can go sideways to cover a large area in a very short time.